As a child, my eldest brother, who was an army officer, was my role model. By the time I reached to my early teens, I had been sucked into the conventional wisdom of medicine or engineering being the ladders of success. I took sciences in college. However, a career in medicine or engineering did not materialize. Fast forward 40 years, without a degree in engineering, I am managing a successful manufacturing business. I would like to spend next 10-15 minutes to share with you my journey, how I find purpose in my life and live with it. As a child, I was youngest of 9 and lived in a compound with around 20 more cousins. So we grew up in an environment where you had to act older than you were to really get your way. So this fake it till you make it behavior built a level of confidence which helped me in my school years. My parents were no-nonsense personalities. My mother, a fountain of tolerance, had hardly ever complained. I used to wonder why I am not pampered by her or by my father, like my other cousins or friends are pampered by their parents. My father was a visionary and had zero tolerance for laziness. Even now, at the age of 96, I get scolding from him for being 5 minutes late from my commitment. My father, being the eldest in our clan and only educated person after partition, spent a significant amount of his time helping others. From marriage proposals to business issues, to filling job applications, to dealing with the police and court cases. So our home used to be the happening place all the time. This early life exposure to public service had a profound influence on me. During my school years, I used to volunteer for taking many initiatives, like I set up a library for the community and ran it for a few years. I did tuition for needy kids and did many other activities like dramas, debates, quizzes, whatever come my way. So this early life exposure to patience and public life really helped me to find purpose in my life. Another influence in developing me what I am was my law studies at Islamic University, Islamabad. With students from more than 50 universities, we had a kind of mini United Nations where they were all living and studying together. We all had to learn Arabic and English. So my best foreign friends in the class were from Indonesia, from Tajikistan, from Jordan, and from Ghana. So this rich exposure to diversity of race, perspectives, and appreciation of people because of knowledge, not the wealth, really had a profound influence on my life. I believe that living lives purposefully make your life challenges which you face in the life much easier. I will share with you two instances where I had to make tough decisions in my professional life, but because of the training I had, it were made easy for me. It was year 2006 when I was working with HSBC Bank, Dubai. After a long wait, we were going to get the delivery of our house, the villa as they call it in Dubai. My wife had been successful to pre-register rather, our 2-year-old daughter in the best school in town. And I was in the command of the work I was doing. The team reporting to me was hired by myself, and I had trained them. So on the face of it, everything was sorted out for me. No one except me knew that I'm really not challenging myself anymore. That's when I started thinking about my next career move. Saudi Hollandi Bank, which was a joint venture bank with ABN AMRO in Saudi Arabia, was looking for head of their Islamic banking. A job like that would have been great for me because I not only get exposure to lead a team, but also get the exposure of the largest and the fastest moving market in GCC. I even now recall the discussion I had with my wife about the life in Riyadh. Saudi Arabia at that time was under an security advisory for foreigners due to Al-Qaeda attacks on some residential compounds. Restriction on driving for women, getting exit re-entry permit each time you travel, family visas, visit visas restrictions, there were big no's. On the other hand, if I don't move for that opportunity, I would not be able to grow my career. With the very generous support of my better half, instead of moving to our first house in Arabian Ranches, we moved to Riyadh. When I joined the new bank in Riyadh, my first challenge was to build a team. My boss in HSBC had given me a very good advice. He said, Kamal, never be afraid of hiring smarter and more qualified people under you. I followed his advice and built a team who was passionate about the work we were going to do. The bank I had joined had tried and failed to build the Islamic banking business few times earlier. So my first challenge was to convince the senior management of the bank, some of them are here, that this time around we will not fail. With the full support of the CEO, despite having full support of the CEO, I realized early on that I won't be able to bring the change without building stakeholders within the bank. That was not an easy thing, especially when many people thought I am after their jobs. So my team and I, we worked day and night to build those partnerships, to make people believe in our vision. And Alhamdulillah, within few years, Saudi Hollandi Bank was the market leader in Islamic banking. So this is the award we received for the best transaction, the first transaction in the Islamic banking market. Now, during this time, my family was also settled in Riyadh. To our surprise also, my wife was working with an American environment consulting firm. Our daughter was studying in the best school and had an a Jordanian teacher learning Arabic. And funny enough, for some of you might relate to that more, we had an Ethiopian maid living with us for 3 years as well. So there was no reason for us to really do anything other than keep on doing what we were doing. So it was year 2012 when this introspection about what I am doing with my life came once more. Now, that is the time when my successor was fully trained and ready to take over my job. Lucky, I should have moved up, but the CEO job in Saudi Arabia, in that bank especially, being a JV for ABN AMRO, was for Dutch or a Saudi national. So I could have continued with that job for many years, getting a fat salary, but that was not me. I started looking at various options. Doing something different after spending such a long time in banking was also a very exciting idea, but scary as well. One option was to move back home to join family business. I could make the tough decision of moving back home because that would help me achieve, which was living life purposefully. By the way, life of business in Pakistan back in 2010 was also not very good. If you recall, there were serious load sheddings. We had suicide, terrorist attacks, and the international media, especially which we used to watch, staying outside, was very negative about Pakistan. In this environment, we decided to move to Lahore. If you look at, this was only possible because, one, I wanted to keep on living purposefully. Other, I had a desire to serve the country, which was my identity. And yet another consideration which was always back of my mind, that was to spend some time with my parents who were in their 80s. The business I joined in Pakistan was already an existing business. My foremost challenge in that business was how to institutionalize and make sure that it sustained and grow beyond the founders. As you are well aware, the biggest challenges family businesses face is the sustainability after the first generation. We achieve that by making our employees in the company, who are the stakeholder, as shareholder of the company by offering them stock option schemes. To nurture and to spread the change which we wanted to bring, which is achieving excellence in whatever we do, beyond our factory premises, we established Fast Excellence Awards in more than 15 universities. The purpose of these things was to make sure that we establish a business and create a culture that it sustains beyond ourselves. Alhamdulillah, 10 years down the road, I am managing the business which actually last year in 2021 became the largest cable manufacturing company in Pakistan. Now, the purpose to share this story, it's very personal and you might find it boring, was to discuss that the ladder to success is not necessarily by changing careers or by changing countries. We can very much achieve success in our businesses if we keep the focus of living purposefully. I personally believe the growth in our businesses and the excellence in our business, we can achieve manyfold if we ourselves decide to live purposefully. That is, frankly, is the message we read in most of these bestseller management books. Interestingly enough, I learned that message from a hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says, the person whose today is not better than his yesterday is at loss. Thank you.